Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about August 21st, the solar eclipse. And y'all know I get deep, so I'm going to talk about the actual programming you need to program your shit. You need to program yourself with in order to get through this. Now, this ain't... Now, when you listen to a whole bunch of other people, like, there's a lot of fear going on. There's a lot of overhype going on. There's a lot of overexcitement going on where a lot of things happen, just take place sequentially. Like, so a lot of things just happen unconsciously. So there's like a gift that happens every day. Just because it's a eclipse, that doesn't make this more important. And by listening to everybody, it's going to make you feel and think like something is supposed to happen. So when something don't happen, it's almost like you feed your energy back to lower chakra vibration people who don't care about it in the first place and create that energy orb. And what I need you to understand is that's part of all this fear or overexcitement or overhype for this is like mechanisms of the beings that's utilizing this energy for themselves and making you utilize it for what they want you to utilize it for. So be careful who you even listening to, even when it comes to astrologers, when it comes to talking about this eclipse, because they could be pushing things on you that's subconsciously pushed on you based upon just the language that they're using, whoever they learned their astrology from and how they see things, and the location where they at, and how they're vibrating. And all these things are very essential to you understanding what's going on. So I don't want you to be overhyped. I need you to understand that magic happens every day. You know what I'm saying? So don't put your energy into a force that other people are trying to make you put it in. Now, for the most part, when we want to talk about the solar eclipse, I'm going to break down the actual energies of what Gaia is giving you access to, and how she wants you to apply yourself to the energy of that day, so you could come out as not being one who gets taken as a vessel, or not be utilized and used, or not utilize this energy to manifest things that this new energy doesn't need, old and outdated shit. So this is the energy presence that you need to be in, regardless of your zodiac sign. Hey, regardless of how many squares or trines or you may have, it may be harder or easier for you to rely yourself with this energy. But this is the energy Gaia is putting out here for you to do. Now we're going to start with what planets the signs is in. First of all, the sun. The sun is your actions, the way you see things and how you act. The sun is in Leo, so the sun loves to be here. So this is bringing comfortability with one's own actions. So right here, Gaia wants you to have your own fixated way on seeing and feeling things, because fire is the feelers and the seer. And anytime you can't feel into something you can't see, which is part of the yin realm. And when you try to see it, when you try to see something in the yin realm, that's using your third eye. This is why this is a right brain sign. Now, it's going to try to externally express what it's seeing in the yin realm. So this makes them expressive. They express the feelings. So this is what makes fire signs see visions, because feelings don't have a look or color to it. And then you like to see it in a certain way. Anything you can see got color and something to it, right? So when you match these two together, right, if it's in the yin realm and something you can't see yet, it becomes a vision. And when this vision needs to be expressed, that's when it gets wielded in to this realm of reality. So this is what makes fire signs creative and things of that nature. Now, you have this on the cusp. Today it's going to be 28 degrees sliding into 29 degrees. So you have it on the cusp. So it's sharing a lot of energies from Virgo, which is mutable earth. So it also needs you to be able to look at other people the way how they make things work, or look how things is working in your surroundings and see how, and come to a broad perspective, practical conclusion on how these mechanisms can work for you. Now, that's Virgo. Virgo is mutable earth, being mutable, being able to adapt to its own or other people's ways of thinking and being practical, which ultimately is common sense. So not only do Gaia wants you to have your own way of seeing and feeling things, but it also wants you to consider how other people may think about things and how other people may use the things that they think about and utilize them to make it work for them in their life in some type of way, to make sense out of it, make it to a practical conclusion. So both of these energies together represents the Regulus energy. Now the Regulus is a fixed star. which is it holds part of the equinoxes and the solstice along with myself. So this is the energy of Archangel Raphael. But when we talk about in astrology terms, right here, that's how the energy plays out, and it's a far out light that that rules the north. So what happens here is a lot of powerful energy to get a person's practical life regulated due to their creative endeavors and their visions is highly recommended right now for you to do. So even if you are strictly a super earth, you got a lot of earth in your chart, you got a lot of air in your chart, it's important for you to be able to express yourself or add some type of feeling and emotion to what you're trying to think about practically or communicate about, because that's the only way you're going to be able to tap into this fire slash this fire energy, but in an effective way. Now, as far as the moon is in the same degree. So what happens here is the moon is who you are. Well, is Gaia is who Gaia is right now. This is the way Gaia feel. So when it comes to things that you need to be comfortable with, if you are square to Leo with your moon or in any type of way, it may be a little harder to get comfortable with the energy that may be planning on right now. But for the most part, or opposition. But for the most part, what you need to be emotionally comfortable with is you need to be emotionally comfortable with your own way of seeing and your own way of feeling about things. Don't be too quick to try to take somebody else's advice or take someone else's idea and then build on those thoughts and shit. And then once the eclipse passed, you didn't do nothing but manifest energy for their orb. You know what I'm saying? That's what you don't need to do. See, when I break this all down, you're going to understand how this all makes sense and how it all correlates to protecting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because the planet and the light gods is here to protect yourself. But they can't stop another civilization because that's the order of how things come in. So all I can do is tell you how to protect yourself so you don't get used as a vessel. Or if you are getting used as a vessel, how to make sure you utilize the vessel to get what you want out of that motherfucker before you transform. You see what I'm saying? So the moon wants you to feel comfortable with expressing your inner self, the way you see things, the way you feel about things. Even if you feel like you're wrong or whatever like that, you need to feel comfortable with your own way of seeing and your own way of feeling about things that day on the 21st more than any other day. You see what I'm saying? Now when it comes into Mercury is in Virgo and it's in retrograde. So a lot of times it's going to be past practical issues or past thinking or past details or you're going to miss over details now. But a lot of past issues, like you may have been a person who may not have been looking at details effectively in the past. That's going to come back up now to the point that you need to look at them more than ever now, because you're going to see yourself slipping and falling and forgetting things and picking up the wrong items at stores and things and the register machines messing up and things of that nature all day. Like I went to the grocery store today and everything was malfunctioning with the computers. I picked up a few wrong things thinking I picked up two purple and a blue juice, and I picked up two red juices. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with me today? But you know, that's another story. But as far as that's the retrograde is just bringing up past thinking and practical issues, which is because it's in Virgo. So any practical issues that you didn't take care of before is going to come back up. Any type of thinking issues or details or criticisms or things or sarcasms or things that you're working on that you may have got lazy on, now it's time. You got to pick it back up now, or you're going to find yourself missing shit and forgetting shit and feeling like you didn't approach to do something. So right now it needs you to look carefully right now. It needs you to think carefully and analyze carefully, but make sure you're thinking how everyone else appear to think and how everybody else, and make sure you're analyzing and communicating things of how of your practicality and how everybody else's practicality is, and come to a broad conclusion on how practicality and ways of thinking should be related to right now for this day, for that day on the 21st. You see what I'm saying? So that way it's like keeping an open mind and not being too aggressive or too single-minded in your own way of thinking and communicating. You gotta have a guard up there so that don't get infiltrated. Now, because key things for Virgos, they like to detail and criticize. So the minute you receive some information with Mercury being in Virgo, you better criticize that shit. You better overthink that shit. You better, even if it's coming from me, you better analyze that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm telling you only the truth. But you better analyze and think about that shit, because you're going to find yourself mistaken or missing something or missing a small detail. You see what I'm saying? Now, when we want to talk about Venus is in Cancer. So Venus, how Gaia wants you to love, appreciate, value, and how she wants you to relate. She wants you to relate to initiating and creating your own, initiating, creating your own and new emotions and feelings. She don't want you attaching anyone else's emotional stance on things. She don't want you attaching anybody else's feelings on things. She wants you to initiate and create your own way of feeling and dealing with the emotions about things. But she wants you to love and appreciate and value these things. Love, appreciate, and value your own new way of feeling about things, your own new way of emotionalizing things without having to sit back and have to consider someone else's emotional wave and you want to be relatable. If you can't attach yourself to someone or vibe that day, don't do it. That's what it's telling you. And initiate a new way and emotions and feelings and a new and comfortability, and value that comfortability. So if someone is around you who make you uncomfortable a lot of times, but they close to you, so you accept it, that day ain't the day to do it. Venus is telling you to love and appreciate and value your own comfortability at all costs, and initiate and create new ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings around that mechanism, and value and appreciate and love that. Venus is in motherfucking Cancer on the 21st, Nick. Now, we got Mars. Mars is in Leo. So, Mars is going to be playing in a role with the Sun and the Moon. So, Mars is intent, willpower, passion, and motivation. So, Gaia wants you to have your passion, willpower, motivation, and desire for your own way of seeing and feeling things. Desire your own passions. Desire how you feel. Desire your own desires. Desire your intuition. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your attention is geared towards the way you see things, the way you feel things, the way you want to see the stage, the way you want to be in the center stage, the way which you want to see, the visions you want to see. Make sure it ain't got no one else's added there. It's telling you this shit. See what I'm saying? Now, Jupiter is in Libra. So Jupiter is wisdom, knowledge, and it's the human experience. Because if you are a human and you have a Jupiter sign, Jupiter is going to bring you experiences in your life. And experiences cause expansion. Because experiences, you're able to gain wisdom and knowledge, and you're able to learn, and you're able to teach. And you're able to put meaning and reasoning behind things. So regardless of the experience is bad or good, it's expansion. So Jupiter is all around good, motherfucker. So when we talk about Jupiter, Jupiter is in Libra. So a lot of times there's going to be a lot of higher optimism. I don't even want to say optimism. They're going to be a broad look, and there are going to be a lot of meanings and reasonings put behind relationships, put behind the law, put behind justice. So right now, Gaia, especially on the 21st, she wants you to gain enough wisdom and knowledge on social relationships. Not just relationships like partner relationships, but just social relations in general, business, everything. Jupiter wants you to gain as much wisdom and knowledge and add as much meanings and reasonings to justice, or to the justice system you're in right now, or what kind of relationships you're in right now, or things that you need to balance in your life right now, or things you need to harmonize with and relate to and communicate and think and analyze about right now. Jupiter wants you to gain as much wisdom and knowledge about these realms of realities as possible, and it wants you to experience this. Even if you're a person who's not you're a person who always stay to yourself or whatever like that. Jupiter wants you to expand your realm, and the realm is in Libra, so it needs you to expand your how you relate to people, or how you relate to people, places, and things, or your relationship realm. So if you're a person who's neglecting that, like, oh, fuck people, right now ain't the time to do that. If you're not experiencing no kind of form of relationships or relating to a person, place, or thing in no type of way, and expanding your mind on these things, then you're going to be still conscious in the wisdom and knowledge as this ushering in through the motherfucking solar eclipse. So make sure you keeping that in mind. Now, let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is also in retrograde. So you have to look towards past ways of your own, or the people around you, of how they gain structure in their life, or how you gain structure in your life, and the boundaries and restrictions and limits you may have placed out or received. See what went wrong and see what went right, and place that now. But ultimately, what Gaia wants you to do with Saturn being in Sagittarius is make sure you're understanding the experiences that you're going through in reality. Make sure you're tying your wisdom, your knowledge, to some type of reality. Make sure you're tying what you have learned. Make sure you tie your spiritual inclinations and things of that nature, and tie that to reality in some type of way. Make sure you're putting boundaries and restrictions and limits on certain things to be gained wisdom from, and make sure you're placing boundaries and make sure, and you're gonna see boundaries and restrictions and limits and a lot of things to learn and shit like that, because a lot of things and a lot of portal accesses is being left behind now because we're ascended. And it's going to be a new moon in Leo. You know what I'm saying? aka Virgo. Now, when we talk about Uranus is still in retrograde. So as far as a generation thing, right? As far as a generation, we got Uranus in Aries. So changes is happening rapidly fast. People are have their own way of seeing and their own way of feeling about things when it comes to the changes, when it comes to uniqueness and originality. So people are willing to aggressively debate or aggressively oppose or aggressively change some type of status quo in a radical way right now. And changes is happening real fast. So there's real fast and rapid changes, and these changes is happening in a spirit way, in a spirited way, not in no physical way, in a spirited way. You know what I'm saying? That people are seeing new things and new visions and wanting to act and feel these new vibrations that they're stepping into. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically Uranus being in Aries. Now Neptune is in Pisces, which dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. You know what I'm saying? It's in Pisces, mutable water. So right now, dreams, illusions, and creativity and imagination right now is just flowing right now. Just flowing. Everybody, and if you tap into it, you can tap into it by just going along with the flow right now. So everybody is going along with the flow, even if it calls for the sake of copying. Because, you know, mutable means being mutable, being able to adapt, but also be relatable and be fluid. So that's able to be changeable or able to be, you know what I'm saying, access and more fluid. So you're able to, that's like more mutable signs know how to change up with their crowds. Mutable signs know how to play the part better than a fixed or a cardinal sign. Like mutable signs know how to be this way with this group of people and be this way with this group of people. Fixed signs a lot of times like to be to themselves, or if there is out, they got their own fixated way of how they do things. So you either love them or hate them. Cardinal signs a lot of times they interchange. Sometimes they got their own viewpoint on how they do things, so they can be stubborn, but a lot of times they like to come up with new ways of how to be relatable and how to apply themselves. So a lot of times they may be seen as weird or seen as someone who's just doing some new shit, but at the same time they all got their gifts and curse. So with Pisces here, Pisces doing that on an emotional level, on the emotions and feelings. So right here, Pisces is relating to other people's emotional stance on things and the way they feel. And when you put Jupiter here, people are relating to other people's creativity, other people's imaginations, other people's fantasies, other people's dreams, other people's illusions. You know what I'm saying? And people are relating to them on an emotional scale right now and how they feel right now. So make sure you're not attaching yourself to too much, absorbing too many other people's vibes. But for the sake part, make sure you are attaching enough so you can be relatable and be a part of this collective when we are ushered in, and you don't be singled out with no stale conscious shit. You gotta flow. And Pluto is in Capricorn. So Pluto is deep transformation, deep willpower, deep desires, and control and power. So when it's in Capricorn, you're going to see a lot of those energies happen with infrastructure, business, statuses, people who are at high status quos, what you're known for and what you're seen. You're going to see a lot of struggles there, and a lot of power struggles and a lot of control struggles based upon people's statuses and egos and how they think they appear to be seen and how they want to be seen. So there's a lot of people in high statuses that may clash at this time also, or may even die, or may even get killed. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, there's going to be some deep transformations when it comes to people's statuses and people's status quos and things of that nature. Now I'm gonna stop this video because I don't want this to go over 25 minutes because they're gonna this camera cut my shit in half. But for the most part, we're gonna get into your powers, your oppositions you're gonna experience on this day, on the 21st, your learning processes, your gifts, and your opportunities that you're gonna witness. Flight boss.